Hazy and I wanted to show a little bit about our crate training routine. As you can see, she likes going in and out of her crate. And the reason why is because there's always treats to find in her crate. I throw them in there. Go find it. Go find it. And she knows that if she goes into her crate, go find it, is that she can go find treats. So I throw treats in there a lot, and so she goes, and it's a fun game to go find them. See, she knows she can go find them in her nice wire crate. I use a wire crate because it breathes. As a Bernese Mountain Dog, she can get pretty warm, and so I don't use a plastic crate. And I make sure the heat's down in here because there's a heater right behind her, so make sure it's not blowing on her and keeping her hot. You'll notice that I don't have a water bucket in here because I want to make sure that she doesn't tank up on water during the night. So she can go without water for 6 to 8 hours. Right now she's 11 weeks old, and we do get up around 3 a.m., go for a quick potty break, back in, and we sleep till about 6:37. So I make sure the big dogs don't bug her and wake her up. So she has her private area. Now, she was raised in this room, so that's a little different than most people who get their puppy from a different breeder and don't raise their own puppies. And so if I get a puppy from someone else, they're in my bedroom, so they're close to me and my other dogs. Because what you're doing is when you first take a puppy home and you put them in a crate, they're in an environment they've never been in, without their litter mates, without their mom, and it's hard for them. It's really, really hard. I mean, it was hard enough for Hazy to be in a different environment. I took down the X-Pen, the puppy pen, and all of a sudden she was in a crate. But you can see I have a bed in here for her. Here, I need my sleeve, kiddo. I have a cool bed that she had in her X-Pen as a puppy. So again, something that smells like something she's used to. And I got that at Petco, and I put that in there. Now, some people, it's helpful to put a barrier in the crate so the crate's only half as big, and she started with a smaller wire crate and went bigger because I have a couple different size crates, but some people don't have that. So you can put a barrier in so they don't have a lot of room. If your puppy was raised in a situation where they pottied where they slept, it's harder for that puppy to adapt to not peeing and pooping where they sleep or eat. So another thing that's super helpful is I feed Hazy. I feed Hazy in her kennel, in her crate. So when we have food time, she goes in her crate. Now she's a little bit confused because I already fed her dinner. Go get in. And so she usually runs right in her crate to get her food. So she knows, good girl. And so I give her food right here in her crate. I close the door. So she gets used to a really positive, fun thing that she loves to eat her breakfast, lunch, and dinner in her crate. And she's in her crate to eat all of her meals, and then I let her out. It's probably 10 minutes at most. And she loves her crate, and she comes spinning in here to get her food. So I've created that positive will. When it's time to go to bed, I have a dish full of small cookies that I use at night to throw in her crate to get her in there, and I say get in, which is my command to get in her crate. So she runs in her crate, and then she searches around for a small cookie or two, and then she falls back asleep. Didn't take her long to settle in, but again, this was the room she was raised in, so it's not that foreign for her. I have a few toys in there, some stuffies. And sometimes I'll put a bone, I don't know if I have one in here, for her to chew on in there, so she can keep herself occupied. I don't use a bully stick because they get too hot with those and they want water. So something like just a good bone or an antler I'll put in there. And she loves her crate. It's her fun home place. Something else you can do is to put a sheet over the top and over the back of the crate, so it's more like a cave and it's their safe place to be. So it kind of goes like that, so it's not distracting, so there's not things going around. It kind of feels like a safe place for the puppy. Sometimes that's helpful. This is a big crate for a little puppy, but she's used to it and it made sense, and I put the bed in there. She's never peed in her crate. never pooped in her crate. She whines to get out, and so I'm very responsive to that. And then now as she's gotten older, I can get a little bit less responsive as she's 11 weeks old, and I know she can hold it a little bit longer, but not too long. Hazy! But I think the treats are a big thing to make sure you have them so you can throw them in so they get used to. Are you just going to get out of the treat bin? Go get it, go get it. So she knows that there's crates in there. I have a Primo pad, which is a type of crate pad in there. It's indestructible. They can't chew it. It stays cool enough, so she loves it. But I have blankets in there. I have some toys for her to play with, and she loves her crate. So I feed her in here. When I go out and take the dogs for a walk, the bigger dogs, I'll put her in here for a half hour, let her back out. It's always positive. It's always fun. It's never for punishment. Timeouts, maybe she'll go outside for a timeout. If I have a timeout in the crate, I give her a bone or something positive to be with. It's never punishment. I don't put water in there because she's not in there long enough where she would need water, or at night I can take water away, and I actually do let her get water when we go out for our 3 a.m. Potty run, but that's probably why she gets back up at 3 hours after that. Ow! Ow! So that's a little bit about crate training. Sometimes some dogs are harder, some dogs are easier. She's been pretty easy. But again, this is the room she was brought up in since day one, so it's pretty comfortable for her. And I've made it very positive. It's never a punishment. First night or two in this crate, you might want to sleep next to them if you're taking your puppy home from a kennel or a litter situation where she doesn't have any sisters and brothers, so she wasn't used to anybody sleeping with her at that point. So it wasn't a big deal for her to be by herself. But that's not the norm. So sleeping next to them, putting your hand in there, telling them they're okay. They're used to that stimulation of having litter mates and a mom next to them. So making sure that you can, for a couple nights, they can settle. They have a bone in there to kind of settle themselves out in, a blanket or two, but not a lot of room if they go potty. But you want to get up when they're babies, every couple hours to let them go potty, and then it evolves from there. So she's can sleep for about 4 to 6 hours, and then we get up, go potty, come back. Please do ask questions. There's a lot of ways to crate train a puppy. The reasons why it's important to crate train a puppy: it's a safe place for them to be. In your car, it's the safest way to travel with a dog. Think if you get in a car accident and your dog's not belted in, or even if they are belted in, they can get impact from a collision. Whereas if they're in a metal crate, I have a metal crate called an East Coast crate, or there's impact crates that keep your dog safe in a car wreck. So it's best in there. And then also think about the day that your dog is sick and has to go to the vet, and at the vet they put them in cages. Wouldn't it be nice for your dog not to be able to stress about being in a crate at the same time that they're sick? So it's really important skill for puppies to learn and dogs to learn to enjoy being in a crate and be calm in a crate. So just think about that. Sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's harder. But again, it's something that I think is a good skill for all dogs to have their safe place. They can be contained and be safe and not get into wires and drywall and things like that in the house that they might be tempted to chew on, because you are a chewer right now because they're teething. Again, Stacy Slade, Sit Stay with Stacy Slade. Ask any questions, please subscribe, and happy to help you guys out with any training with your baby puppies as I go through the same thing. So happy training.